Are we ready to begin? Good morning. Welcome. Thank you all for coming. My name is Judy Gray, and I am the branch manager of the Glendale Library. Thank you all for joining us in this celebration as we begin the construction of our new branch. I couldn't be more excited to be here. The staff has been patiently awaiting this new branch. It's really hard to believe we're finally here. I know a lot of our patrons know and love our branch in the Glendale Town Center. But I'm here to promise you, when we get moved into the new branch, we will be the same Glendale Library that you know and love, just better. Can I tell you a little bit about our building? The new Glendale Library will be open and inviting to all people. It will be on the ground level. It will not have stairs or elevators in the entry. The handicapped parking will be right by the front door. And we still will have a great outside book drop. We plan to have up-to-date adaptive technology resources for our visually impaired, hearing impaired, and mobility impaired patrons. Our new building has something for everyone. The community room will hold 100 people. We have a small meeting room that will hold approximately 15. Plus, we have 3 study rooms that can be reserved by the patrons. We will still have public computers, but they will be in a different place. We have computers assigned to be in the children's area, so adults can work in the area where their children are playing. We'll have some computers in the teen area, and then some computers in the adult area. Have you looked around the site today? We've worked very hard to preserve the natural setting, and if you see the heritage trees, there are lots of trees that are going to be saved so that they are on our site. So we will have that wonderful look. We will have lots of grass and a front porch. The front porch will have tables and benches, places for people to gather, places for families to gather, for people to study, to work, to converse, outside in the beautiful sunshine. Yeah, exactly. It's coming. Attached to the building, we have a enclosed courtyard. This is being made so that we can safely do juvenile programming outside. We're so excited about that. When the programming is not being done outside, that area will be open to the patrons. There'll be tables and benches out there also. There's lots of places where you're going to be able to see nature. You'll also see it while you're in the library with all the large windows we have. We have so many windows planned for this building. And I know myself and anyone who's been inside the current Glendale Library knows we don't nearly have enough. I cannot stress enough how excited we are to be moving back into a neighborhood. The ease of getting here is going to be amazing. We have a stoplight already at the corner. We are located across the street from the 62nd Street multi-use path. So walking, biking are going to be very convenient for folks. We will have a walking path from the corner to the library. So when you cross the street at the crossing, you'll come right up to the library. We'll have bike racks so that you can safely store your bikes while you're here. I really want to thank the Fairfield Sylvan Neighborhood Association for making us feel so welcome here. hopefully we can make all of our patrons feel just as welcome. Walt Disney was quoted as saying, "You can design and create and build the most beautiful place in the world, but it takes people to make the dream a reality." I'd like to say thank you to so many people for their help in this project. The Washington Township Schools for selling us the land to build our new branch. KRM Architects for designing our beautiful new building. Powers and Son Construction Company for working to make this building come to life. The members of the Indianapolis Public Library Board of Directors. I know today, if you could stand up, we'll introduce the Board of Directors. Dr. Matata, Ms. Tribble, Judge Salinas. I think that's who we have today. Thank you all so much for coming today. I appreciate it. We know you have busy schedules. Keith Potts and Dan Boots, our city county councilors. We appreciate you being here, Mr. Boots. We appreciate everything you do with the library. The staff of the Indianapolis Public Library. Especially the staff, the current staff at the Glendale Branch. Raise your hand, guys. And I know we have some past staff members with us too. If you've worked at the Glendale Library at any time, raise your hand. Thank you all so much for your hard work and dedication to the library. We want to thank all of our patrons who contributed time and ideas to helping us develop this great new library. And we want to thank our new neighbor, Taylor's Bakery, for the wonderful cookies today. Before we begin our groundbreaking, we are honored to be able to help Washington Township open a time capsule from the rebuild of the John Strange Elementary School in 1975. Please help me welcome Emily Kaiser, Executive Director of the Advancement Center for Washington Township, as well as some staff and alumni from the John Strange Elementary School.
So as she said, my name is Emily Kaiser. I'm the Executive Director of the Foundation, and we serve Washington Township's public schools as well as our alumni, which puts me on the distribution list when there's a time capsule involved. So I am joined today, I'm going to call up in a second, some staff members and students who were moved from the old John Strange to the new John Strange, which they still refer to it as the old John Strange to the new John Strange, which I chuckle at because when my daughter was a student in 2013, there was nothing new about John Strange, which I also acknowledge is what led to this incredible opportunity for our community today. It is my understanding that none of the people that will join me remember what is in this time capsule, so we are all going to be surprised together. It could go either way. But before we open it, I just want to give thanks to the community, past, present, and future. Washington Township is amazing. It is amazing. It is the people, it is the schools, it is the community partners like the library. It is the connection and the synergy of all of these things that can call a random group of people back almost 50 years later to figure out what's inside the box. But more importantly, to kick off a new chapter of a place that already has an incredible history of love and support associated with it. So, I cannot tell you how glad I am that the Indianapolis Marion County Public Library is continuing to steward this next chapter for this beloved place. This is my branch, so I care deeply that this is here, and I could not be more excited. So with that, I would like to invite some past staff members from John Strange who want to come up, and a past student, Ty, if you would come up. I'm going to let them introduce themselves real quickly, say what grade they taught or when they attended, very briefly, and then I'm going to have you guys come over onto the other side and we'll figure out what's in this box.
I'm Sherry Watkins. I taught both 4th and 6th grade at the old John Strange and 4th grade at the new John Strange. You might think you're getting old when you witness the demolition of the old and the new that you taught at.
I'm Susan Barnes. I attended the old John Strange, and then I taught at the new John Strange, and my kids have gone through all the John Stranges as well.
I'm Janine Shelton. I taught at the new John Strange for about 30 years.
I'm Jane Kaufman. I taught special education at the new John Strange.
My name is Ty Tar. I was a student from 71 to 75. Old school and the new school. Yeah. All right.
So you'll notice that it has already been opened by our operations people, but nobody looked inside. Nobody who's not a professional should be yielding a blowtorch before lunch. So we went ahead and opened it up, and it has been taped around the edges so you guys are safe. But if you guys want to open it up and pull out what's inside. So far, for those in the back, we have a flag of Indiana and the United States flag that look like they may have been flown because they are weathered. We have a 1976 quarter, and then we're unwrapping some documents right now.
We have contents are the PTO handbook, copy of the student programs, John Strange events for 76, 77, the John Strange staff photograph, staff bulletins, equipment and apparatus listing, floor plans of the new school, a metro message from the MSDWT, the state and American flags that were used in the old John Strange gym, one print of Old School sketched by Wilbur Meese, a bicentennial quarter, PTO flower sale blank for May, the John Strange song, Indianapolis Star front page dated May 13th, 77, list of the volunteer aides, list of all school contractors, and the listing of the office staff, who was at that time Dr. Koppel was our principal.
So we will leave these up on the table for anybody who wants to look at them. And then the Glendale Library has graciously said they will take the contents in order to document it and potentially put it on display.
Now I would like to introduce the interim CEO of the Indianapolis Public Library, Michelle N. Hayes. Michelle. I really did say N.
Good morning, everyone. I would like to welcome you all again on behalf of the Indianapolis Public Library. I am Nichelle M. Hayes, and I am the interim CEO. I am so honored to be at this groundbreaking. And for those of you that use our facilities, and maybe some of you that do not, the mission for the Indianapolis Public Library is to enrich everyone and strengthen communities by inspiring lifelong learning. And our vision is to be a center of knowledge, community life, and innovation for Indianapolis. And our hope is that this new iteration of the Glendale branch will be a continuation of that. So the history of the branch is that the Broad Ripple community has enjoyed library service at various sites since 1930. The first standalone library opened in 1949 adjacent to school number 80 and continued at that location until a larger branch opened in Broad Ripple Park in 1986. Facing a need for continued growth, the current Glendale branch was constructed in 2000 and became the country's first full-service library in a major shopping mall. Constructing a standalone branch will help the library achieve its goal of owning all its locations. Indianapolis Public Library estimates that we will have anywhere from 225 to 250,000 patrons visit this branch annually. Having a standalone branch will increase access to our services and collections and eliminate the need to lease property. I would like to thank everyone again for coming out and then introduce our next speaker, Donald Kite, Board President for MSD of Washington Township.
All right, I'm going to talk into the mic here, so please tell me if I'm not. John Fensel, one of our board members, is here, so he'll probably say, Don, talk into the mic. So just let me know. Good morning. First of all, this is a wonderful gathering to have so many people here to celebrate this wonderful location and what's coming in the future. My name's Don Kite. I'm the board president, as I was just introduced. Thank you for that. It's an honor for me to be here along with my fellow board members. John Fensel, who's in the back, is one of our board members. Tracy Horth Kruger was on this side right there. She's also here. Our assistant superintendent, Sean Taylor. Thank you, Dr. Taylor, for being here. And many members of the superintendent's cabinet. This is very exciting for all of us. Dr. Nikki Woodson, our proud superintendent, could not be here today, and so she sends her regrets. I also want to recognize one of our superstar principals, Maravine Inman. It's right over there under the black umbrella. In addition to the fact that she's one of our superstar principals, she also has the distinction of being the last principal at John Strange Elementary School and the first principal at Clearwater Elementary School nearby. So we're very excited that she's here. Thank you, Maravine. I also want to recognize my daughter, moment of personal privilege, and two of my grandchildren, the youngest two, who are in the back there. They are future patrons of this wonderful branch, so they look forward to seeing you. They'll be checking out somewhere between 20 and 30 books each visit, so I know you'll be ready for that. Thank you for coming, Leah and the kids. From this point, I'd just like to say that, we're here today, as you know, to break ground. This is very exciting. As a community, we're celebrating. This is the library celebrating, but it's also all of us, because this is a true community asset. This new location, as you've heard, is going to offer greater access to patrons and the library, which has been in the Glendale Shopping Center, which was something of a first as well, as I understand, being in a shopping center for a library nationally. And it's going to be, obviously, in its own standalone, beautiful building from everything that I've seen and heard, so that's wonderful. As we break ground and celebrate, we are mutually appreciative of the fact that there's been great collaboration that has gone into this. As you know, it was decided by Washington Township, and the school board voted on this, unanimous vote, to sell this land to the library. And because, as the president at the time, Bill Turner, recognized, it was our shared vision for this land that really fueled this. This was something that all of us wanted to do. It is consistent with everything that you've heard about the family whose property this originally was situated upon, and it's important for all of us going into the future. Libraries truly are, as I'm going to go into in a few minutes. You can get comfortable. This is a good time for a bathroom break or get refreshments, but I'm going to go into that in just a minute or two. Gathering in this wonderful setting, we're also mindful of the inspiring history of this place, where a wonderful education was received by literally thousands of Washington Township John Strange Elementary School students. In a May 29th, 1931 Indianapolis News column called All Around the Town, which includes a black and white photograph of a young male student at John Strange Elementary School, and he has a button-down shirt, probably his nicest shirt for a young student, and he has broad striped pants. This young student is sitting there, and the text underneath of this picture of this John Strange student introduces the subject. The text read, and I'm going to quote from it, so please bear with me. "This is a strange story. It involves a strange boy, a strange schoolhouse, and a strange grandfather, together with other strange characters. The strangest part of all, however, is that the principal strange character, young John Strange, shown in the picture, has the honor of having the same name as the John Strange School which he attends. Both school and boy are named for John's grandfather, John Strange, who lived in this old strange household, or homestead rather, that still stands about a mile north of the building." That's no longer true. It was at the time of the article. John is the son of Mr. and Mrs. Harry Strange. The land on which the school stands, now no longer stands, but the library will, which is wonderful. The land on which the school formerly stands was a part of the old Strange farm. When the plan for building a school in that community was started, the question of a site brought about a conclusion that the present location, where we're all seated right now and standing, that the present location and East 62nd Street was the best of all considered. However, when the Strange family was approached initially, the thought of giving up some of the land did not meet with approval. The land had been acquired from the government by one of the Stranges and had been in the family ever since, coming down, of course, as was the custom at the time, from fathers to sons. It was finally agreed that the school might be built there with the provision that it be named for grandfather John Strange. Also interesting is the fact, those who love history will love this, those who don't, sorry. Also interesting is the fact that John Strange's great-great-grandfather, one of the pioneer Methodist preachers in Indiana, was named John Strange. He was the presiding elder in the then Indianapolis Territory, 1824 to 1829, and according to early history, a foremost preacher of the period, as they say, a remarkably godly man who swayed his congregations with the earnest fervor of his sermons. Other news articles, and specifically news articles from an earlier period in our state's history, confirm the fact that the young John Strange's great-great-grandfather by the same name was in fact an extremely prominent circuit-riding preacher. While Reverend Strange was described in a July 5th, 1879 Indianapolis News article as famous and eloquent, and among the eminent preachers of early times, it was also said that adult minds of whatever cultivation could comprehend all that he said. Referencing his education, an even earlier article which appeared in the Princeton, Indiana Clarion Leader on May 22nd, 1852, noted that Reverend John Strange's education was not very thorough, yet he was a close student, and but few men ever had a better command of the language than he. He was known to study what's called Walker's Octavo Dictionary, which is a word-by-word dictionary. It defines every term, and it pronounces literally every syllable. He was known to carry that in his saddlebags as he rode around preaching. Like other prominent Indianapolis leaders, Reverend Strange is now buried in the Crown Hill Cemetery, being reburied there after being buried in the initial city cemetery, the old city cemetery. So much of what's noteworthy has happened here on this very site since sealed bids for construction of the original John Strange Elementary School were opened by Washington Township school trustee Charles M. Dawson on June 23, 1924. Approximately 100 years later, and I can only approximate because of construction, approximately 100 years later, when this new branch of the library is expected to open in this wonderful setting in what truly is a supportive community. I agree with Mrs. Kaiser on that. And what really is a supportive community, we're confident that the mission of facilitating learning in this setting will continue. While the school district realizes that the library is engaged in detailed planning regarding its new home, and the school district would not speak to that in any detail, obviously the library knows, it is exciting to envision our entire community being enriched when the library makes its resources available to truly everyone, from young children not yet in school to our seniors, and I'm becoming a member of that community, to our seniors, when it adds and makes available new materials found and new materials, and also it increases access to new technologies, materials not currently found everywhere or not found in sufficient numbers. For example, materials that focus on our African American, Hispanic, and LGBT communities. When it increases access to computers, as I said, when it hosts speakers in its 100-seat community meeting space, and when it serves in a more general sense, and this is something we all talk about and it still matters, especially in a time when folks are throwing rocks at each other, in a true community meeting space, which is a wonderful thing. As writer Jennifer Howard observed in her recent article, The Complicated Role of the Modern Public Library, which was published in the National Endowment for the Humanities magazine, appropriately entitled Humanities, in a country torn apart by racial, ethnic, political, and socioeconomic divides, libraries still welcome everyone. This commitment to inclusivity, along with a persistent ability to adapt to changing times, has kept public libraries vital in an era of divisive politics and disruptive technological change. There's truly something for everybody at the local library, whether you're a parent who has literacy needs and requires support for their preschooler, an immigrant working on language skills or bureaucratic forms, a mystery fan in search of the latest whodunit by a favorite author, or someone experiencing homelessness who needs assistance with social services or access to a computer and the internet. Or you could just check out a book, as generations of library patrons have done before you. I want to thank everyone for being here today. I just have one more task, and then I will, thankfully, I'm sure you're thinking, sit down, and that is to introduce the next speaker. It is really my distinct honor to introduce Judge Jose Salinas. Judge Salinas graduated from the University of Texas. Don't get up yet. This is a long introduction, Judge. From the University of Texas, Pan American, now the University of Texas, Rio Grande Valley, which is located along the Texas-Mexico border in 1989. He then graduated in 1987 from the true Indiana Law School, the Robert H. McKinney School of Law in Indianapolis. That's a Bloomington joke, sorry. He was elected to the Marion County Superior Court in 2007, where he serves with distinction. He serves now as presiding judge of the court's criminal division and has since his election in 2007, I understand. Judge Salinas is also a founding member of the Indiana Latino Expo Board of Directors, and he served on the board of the Coalition for Homelessness Intervention and Prevention. In 2019, Judge Salinas was appointed by the Indianapolis Board of School Commissioners to a 4-year term on the Indianapolis Public Library Board of Trustees. He is now the president of the Indianapolis Public Library Board. Judge Salinas. Thank you so much.
That's a hard act to follow. I didn't know about the history, Ms. Gray. Thank you so much. Thank you so much about the history and the cooperation that we had with our partners in getting to where we're at this morning. I do want to thank everyone for being out here on behalf of the Indianapolis of the Library Board. I want to thank everyone for being out here and for making this day possible for us. And I want to also thank those that came before us that had a lot to do in the groundbreaking that we are at today. I want to thank the community, the partnerships that we had with the community and asking questions and what does the community need in a library? What are we doing now at the Glendale Mall? What do we need in our new facility? We had a lot of great input, and so I'm grateful to the community for their input, and I'm grateful to the community for letting us know what you wanted in your library. And this will be your library. I'm so happy and grateful to see young kids. I live in the Garfield Park, across the street from the Garfield Park Library, and when I see young kids with their parents going into the library like I used to go with mine when they were younger, it really makes my heart feel warm. I also want to thank the architects that developed this library, because in the meetings that we had getting up to this point, they did something unique. They had virtual meetings or virtual input meetings to let people know what they wanted, how it was going to be, how it might look. And that was important because it gives people an idea of what the end product's going to be. And so we thought that was cool. Like I said, a lot of the points that I was supposed to hit were hit on already, so it's not going to be, my speech is not going to be as long. But before I do move on, I do want to thank the Glendale Mall Shopping Center for letting us be your partner, letting us be there, and letting us welcome the community into your shopping center. So thank you, Glendale Shopping Center, for letting us be there. As was noted by Ms. Gray, this branch will have drive-up place you can drive up and return stuff, access to the public by transportation, a meeting room which is going to seat over 100 people, and as important, it's going to be eco-friendly from what I've been told. It's certified silver with the LEEDs program, so I thought that was cool. The bottom line is we are expanding and we are growing as a library system, and we couldn't have done it without our partners in the community. Thank you, Washington Township, for letting us have this school. Thank you, community members. Thank you, library board. Thank you, library staff, for just waiting for this day to come. Thank you. On behalf of the library board, I want to say thanks to everyone for coming out on this cold, cloudy morning. My job is to introduce the counselor for this district, District 3, Mr. Dan Boots.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks for coming out today. You're all blurry to me right now, so sorry. Let me, so I can also read my words. Appreciate everyone coming out today. I'm Dan Boots, as Judge Salinas mentioned. I'm District 3, which is where we are now, roughly Shadeland over to Keystone, 96th Street down to Kessler, roughly. New maps are underway, but we won't get into that right now. But I'm proud to be here today to be part of this new library groundbreaking. The relationship between the Marion County Public Library and the residents of Broad Ripple and Indy's North Side goes back years, almost 100 years, to even, as mentioned earlier, back into the 30s when the area's first standalone library building in central Indiana was built, in the Marion County branch, right next to, in 49, to school number 80. which, as you know, is in Broad Ripple on 62nd Street. So there's kind of a symmetry here, I believe, that the new Glendale Library branch is coming back home on the grounds of the school and the district that's the fabric of the community. To me, another example of the cycle of life playing out right here before our very eyes. The new facility promises to bring the best features of that old neighborhood library feeling together with the best of the modern services offered at the current library branch, the Glendale branch, blending both with advanced design and construction, including plans, as mentioned, as a solar panel array on the roof that will lead it to eventual LEED Silver certification for energy and resource conservation. A very proud moment, I think, for both everybody in the area and the Marion County Library. So the result's going to be a state-of-the-art facility, a modern housing of the state-of-the-art library and the services and the staff services that are offered. So it will really become a trusted neighborhood anchor. It's going to be accessible by car, bus, sidewalk, bike. It's surrounded by grass and trees, not asphalt and concrete. Another big, I think, accomplishment in its design. Please, that's worth it. It's going to, as mentioned, it's also going to provide greater accessibility to the facility and services for our neighbors with physical limitations through better design and adaptive technologies. The current Glendale Library has served this area at its current location so very well for more than 2 decades. But most shopping malls in this country currently don't really give off that neighborhood anchor type of feeling. And so when completed, this new Glendale Library branch will truly be our neighborhood library. And we think by increasing accessibility, visibility, and availability of traditional and new technological library services, the new Glendale Library branch will give residents of all ages of our Northeast Indy community the tools they need to thrive, succeed, and prosper. And as you may have heard yesterday, we are very proud to announce and excited that the Nickel Plate Trail received funding. So now we'll have a new trail coming up right over here. So we hope roughly the bidding and construction will start in probably 2024 and maybe 2025, be here for a ribbon cutting that will allow people to walk via the Monon. So if you live in Noblesville, you can walk to the Glendale Library. So I just want to thank everybody here, the Marion County Library folks, the staff. Thank you for all your dedication and commitment. Washington Township Schools Administration, very helpful. I think, in my opinion, the public education system in Washington Township is really the fabric of our community. And I'm glad to see merging both the library resources and the school together. And I can't avoid a plug for the Washington Township Advancement Center, Emily Kaiser, and all the great work they do as well. And of course, we all wouldn't be here either without a strong surrounding community, the FSNA neighborhood group, and Joe as the president, who I'll have the pleasure of introducing here in a moment. That support and input and cooperation is really what makes our community stronger. I think it is, we are in all this together. It is a village, and the more we work together, the better we prosper collectively. So I'm here excited along with all of you, and I eagerly anticipate the completion and opening of this magnificent project. Thank you. I now will introduce the president of the Fairfield Sylvan Neighborhood Association in the area in which we are located, Joe Geller.
Well,
thanks, Joe.
Very good, Dan. As the last speaker, I will be brief. The writing is rather large. So I have been a resident of Fairfield Sylvans for some 44 years. And there are close to 500 households in the association, which was incorporated back in 1999. And we have a website, www.fsnaindy.org. And many thanks to Judy Gray, the Washington Township School Board, our energetic city councilor Dan Boots, and also Christine Scales, the prior city councilor. Our FSNA southern boundary is Kessler Boulevard, which is the old city limits. So Fairfield Sylvan's has extensive properties with large trees, and I own one of the smaller lots. So, and it's the 62nd Street Trail, as on the other side of the 62nd Street, was completed several years ago, connecting Broad Ripple to Binford Boulevard, past the newly renovated Eastwood Middle School. And the Nickel Plate Trail, as Dan just mentioned, is along the eastern boundary of Fairfield Sylvans, and that was cleaned by our neighbors on 3 weekends in the fall. And now, as was mentioned, up to $12 million has been approved as of yesterday for pedestrian upgrades. The Fairfield Sylvans directors, after the pandemic of several years ago, we ceased meeting, but we met last evening at the New Air Apartments, that's AYR, west of here on Rural Street. Ace Hardware, another item is Ace Hardware will open at 62nd and Allisonville Shopping Center in the near future. Big Lots store next to the Nickel Plate Trail has been bought by a new owner. So we should see some activity there. Last but not least, Fairfield Sylvans FSNA News and Views newsletter will resume mailing to neighbors in early May. So the newsletter, oops, I gotta find it. Is like this. So we're back in business. Pandemic has not has slowed us down, obviously, but we're moving again. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Joe. We appreciate your comments. Let's just take a second to thank all of our speakers. Nichelle N. Hayes, who's the library interim CEO, Jose Salinas, who is our library board president, Dan Boots, who is our city county councilor, and Donald Kite, who is the Washington Township board president. And thank you again all for coming with us today. We're happy to be here to celebrate, but now I think it's time to turn some dirt.
I want to make this quick. I want to recognize my mom, Sylvia Hayes, and my sister, Serena Hayes. They are a huge supporter. They came out in the cold and kind of rain, and I appreciate what they're doing, so I wanted to say that real quick. Thank you.
Well, if we're going to do that, I have to appoint my mom. Yeah. Vicki Clem, a former library employee who came to support us today.
Let's do it one more time. One more time. Three more times. 1, 2, 3.
We're all good? You really want to run in the front here in the middle? Thank you all for coming.
coming out.
Thank you so much.
Couple more shots.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, you guys ready? You know. Oh, sure. You guys want to drink some dirt now? Too heavy? You got it? Look at the news. Look at that. Oh, yeah. Look at that groundbreaking.
There we go.
Our future leaders of America. Yeah, so good news. Are you ready? Woo! Got it. Yeah, very exciting. Good job, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Yeah, I'll be back. Go get a cookie.